Hey everybody, I'm Katie Arroyo,
And I'm Laura Manaswitch.
and
And
this is Pinky
Pinky
Promise.
Promise. We're getting so good.
I know, we're crushing it.
It's a podcast about growing up, and we have with us today a very special guest. I'm delighted. We have a comic and actor and artist, Thea Lux. Welcome, Thea.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. I was telling Katie, I was like, Taya makes very tiny hot dogs, and
Yeah.
they're awesome.
I said, so she's a comic, right? And she said, yep, she's a comic and an actor, and also she makes really tiny hot dogs on Etsy.
Yeah, that's my quarantine, just tiny hot dogs. And people are like, what? I'm like, no, it's serious.
It's a thing.
Tiny hot dogs are serious business. Yeah. So how's everything? We're all surviving and getting through.
We hit our nearly our 9 month? Has it been 9 months?
9 months.
Yeah.
I think the 12th for me is when I got sent home from work. So that's my gauge. 9 months.
Yeah, I think we hit 10,000 or so cases yesterday. So we're doing great. I think we're really, working hard to pump those numbers up.
We're crushing it.
I want to congratulate everyone for hitting such a milestone.
And everybody for doing their part.
Yeah, really committing to it. Just really committing to the bit.
Taya posts updates of cases in LA, and it's
real
just like
cheery.
really nice to be reminded what bile tastes like every day when I read those.
I like to,
but that's not day. That's whatever way we can, we make an impact. But today, we'll keep talking about COVID. Probably it just keeps coming up because it won't go away. But mostly we're going to talk about concerts. Where it's concert day here on Pinky Promise.
That's right.
A pivotal point in all of our lives. There was so much that went into them. Katie, many concerts for you?
Yeah, I am a huge concert goer. Well, I thought that I was, and then I meet other people that actually are huge concert goers, and I'm like, oh, I go when I can.
Right.
But the first concert I ever went to was New Kids on the Block, and
Same.
I felt very cool. I wore black leggings and I had a black long tunic type sweater that had New Kids on the Block knitted into the sweater in fluorescent colors. And I felt very cool. And I remember feeling really cool. We were in the nosebleed section and my dad went with me. And I remember crossing my legs and my sweater went over my knees. And I remember pulling my sweater over my knees and just listening to them sing. And I felt like I was I'm sitting like an adult right now. I remember feeling really cool.
The new kids know I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. Joey is going to be really excited when he finds out that I'm here.
New kids.
Is that an era where they had jumbotrons? Did they have jumbotrons?
I think they did. I think they had, because their faces were, that was the only way we saw them because we were so far away. But I just remember walking and walking and walking to get to our seats. We might have been the second or third row from the very top.
Yeah.
I can identify with that because I went to one of my first big concerts was REM, and literally the last seat in the stadium. Michael Stipe was a teeny tiny Michael Stipe.
Yeah.
Big sound, very disappointing.
Yeah,
but Dad was there with me as well. Dad's always go to concerts with us.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to the dads that go to all the concerts.
A favorite tale in our family is there used to be in Hartford I don't know, whatever, some first Thursday thing where there's live music in the streets and whatever. And for some reason, my dad and my uncle took my sister and I one night, and my sister and I were deeply invested in a band called Toxic Field Mice. And I'm sure sounded just as horrible as the name implies. And my dad is like, your uncle and I had to work very hard to keep you two from getting smashed into in mosh pits. And we were like, well, we had no idea. We were having a great time. Thanks for keeping us alive.
What kind of music is Toxic Field Mice?
Loud. I couldn't name any of their tunes, but it was men with instruments. That much I know.
I'm into it.
Likely mid 90s, so grungy noise.
Grungy
noise.
I like it.
Yeah.
What a horrible band name.
Yeah. They went for it.
Yeah.
I remember so I went to New Kids on the Block, and then when I was in about 8th grade, I really got into the like straight edge hardcore scene. And so my parents were like not understanding. I was like, no, these kids are not going to, like, they want me to not take drugs, but they were like very concerned about it. So my mom made my dad go to like 2 shows, and it was literally the like screaming in the basement kind of shows. And I remember like we went to see he had to go to this one show, and he was just like standing in the back, and I remember I wanted to die because like I didn't want him to be there. Like I was just like, I'm trying to look older, and my dad is just like standing in the back, and my dad is like a Mexican immigrant. Like he was just like, he had like a polo shirt tucked into jeans and like work dad sneakers. Like he I remember I like came up to him and he was just like, it's very loud. And he had to go like he had to go to that one show, and then they let me go alone. But then there was a show at like a true bar, and it wasn't like a straight edge type show. So our parents, my friend Megan and our parents decided that like our dads needed to go to this show. And I remember like we were like in a mosh pit, and then both of our dads were just like sitting awkwardly in a booth together, like trying to make conversation over this music for like 2 hours. And we were like in white beaters and jinkos, like dripping with sweat, like crowd surfing like maniacs.
Gentle music for dads to chat to, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I bought one pair of Jinko jeans whenever I was like 19 or so. I didn't have them in high school. And then I wore them once, and I was like, who am I kidding? And I like used the fabric to make a shoulder bag.
That's awesome.
This is more of me.
Yeah.
A lot of fabric comes from those jeans.
Oh yeah, you could have made like a whole outfit.
You could certainly make at least one other pair of jeans. Every pair of Jenko jeans could be 2 pairs.
For sure.
Were you straight edge at all? Were you straight edge?
Yeah, I was until I had actual access to alcohol. So
that's exactly it. I was going to ask you, when did you stop being straight edge?
So my boyfriend he was in a metal band that like he was on Sling Blade Records. He was on whatever record company had the Goo Goo Dolls. And so he like toured with a metal band, but he doesn't drink. And I was like, wait, did you actually like stay straight edge? And he was like, yeah. Like, I didn't know people did that.
Did he have a great many bracelets?
He was like, yeah.
Did he draw X's on his hand?
Yeah. He was just like, and he was like, yeah, he's like, the whole rest of the band did not stay sober. And he's like, so I basically like refused to drive the van during the day because I always drove us home when everyone was like trashed after the shows. And he was like, so it kind of worked out because that's the shorter drive. So, it's like I just drove them. Like I'd be like, we can go anywhere, but whatever. He had like rules for like, I don't. He was like, I would never let people have like weed in the car. He's like, because I'd be driving. Like you're so responsible. Like you're the most responsible metalhead.
There was a theater that I saw a ton of shows at when I was like in high school and stuff, because I had an older sister, so I got to be on tag along duty like there was no other. Like I just got to go to a bunch of things that if I even asked if I could go without her, it'd be like, but it was like, but can I go with her? And it was like,
yeah,
great. But so there's like this one theater that's just grimy and gross, and like I got many a fat lip from moshers, and there was always like the back was the bar, and I was 15. It was like that part of this club doesn't exist to me. And right before I moved last year, I went 2 nights with past guest Sam Ike to go see Taking Back Sunday. They were playing 2 of their albums like front to back both nights, and I was like, I will regress to my 20-year-old self, absolutely. And then I was like, oh, but I'm old now and I don't want anyone to touch me, so I spent the whole 2 shows like in the bar area, and I was like, this is incredible, this is a world I never knew existed. And it was far less disgusting than up front where everyone was pushing. And I was like, I get to scream like a child with a vodka soda in my hand
Living
and
the
no
dream.
one's pushing me. Yeah, it was amazing.
I don't understand why that's appealing to people, to go hear a band and just get beat up. It's not
awful.
I would try to get up front, absolutely, all the time. But if there was like pushing, I was just like, no, I'm going.
I was like, how can I crawl on your shoulders and get carried around?
Good Lord. I got pushed off to the side, like almost backstage one time, and I like fell over a garbage can because that was just what was
hanging
happening.
out there. Yeah.
And there was like a security guy, and if I was a man, I would have been beaten with a mag light because I like saw it go up and I saw him register girl child, and like then he helped me up, and I was like, well, I think you should probably help people up and not hit them with flashlights regardless, but thank you for your generosity, sir.
When we used to go to like those hardcore shows, there was always like, and I asked my boyfriend, I was like, did you experience this too? Or was this just like a Syracuse thing or whatever? Or like my personal experiencing? But guys would like in the mosh pit, they would like, we would go crazy, but then there would be like guys that would put their arms like around so that you had a safe space from the swinging arms, and it wouldn't even be people you knew. You just
they were the
like,
first feminists.
Exactly.
They really were the first feminists.
Yeah.
Paving the
letting
way.
me mosh.
Yeah, and then you would just be like, thanks, dude. And they're like, no problem. Like, never expected anything. Just like,
oh, you think that, but if you had talked to old One Eye at the bar, I don't know, he's a pirate apparently protecting you.
Yeah. Thea, you played the guitar in a battle of the bands, is that right?
Well, I've been in bands, or like I was in a band with like a group of folks, and it kind of changed over the course of 10 years. So like when you mentioned the bad band name, my band initially won like the best worst band name of like 2007 or something. It was called Let's Get Out of This Terrible Sandwich Shop.
very catchy.
Very catchy. And honestly, by the time we were like playing together for a while, we were kind of annoyed that every review was just talking about the name, and we're like, we're musicians too, come on, listen. I know we intentionally set this up, but yeah.
You're
so
like, we're not just writers.
I know, listen to our music. Yeah, so we played together in different incarnations over the course of 10 years or so, and that didn't matter.
What was your sound? What was your deal? Your vibe?
Probably, like rock and roll, probably influenced by like the Breeders or Pavement. That kind of, I mean, the drummer really liked The Who and Elvis, so there was like some Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, so we had like a Farfisa for a bit, and yeah, rock and roll. You can find The French Goodbye on iTunes now. That's the name.
And I will.
How old were you when this band started? Did you start the band?
No, a friend of mine, Tony Mendoza, did. He was in another band with a friend, Joanna Beasy, and Chris Churchill, called Los Shut Up in Chicago. And they were in a goof rock band for a while. And then Tony kind of broke off, did his own thing. And then Joanna and I kind of joined. We found that the requirement to be in this band was to either have dated Tony Mendoza or to date Tony Mendoza. So my advice to everyone is don't date your drummer. Just be in the band.
It's always the drummer. The drummer is always a problem starter.
It's always the drummer. Yeah. So we played after that. And I forget the initial question.
Oh, how old were you when you joined the band?
Oh, I was like 25. I guess I was 25 or so. I was late. I always wanted to be in a band. I always played guitar as a kid, but nope. I was the one who knew that in order to be in my Second City level 5 show, I would just have to write the opening and closing number and a solo song for me. So I'd just be like, guys, I run this show. Let me write all the music.
You're like, I used my music. I just didn't get to be in the band till later.
Yep.
So when did you start playing? When did you start playing guitar? When you were young?
When I was like in 8th grade, my folks are really musical. We're like the family who will add 7-part harmony and there's only 4 of us type of thing. Like that scene in Spinal Tap when they're at the grave and they're like, since my baby left me. Like that's my family, just Von Trapp family singers all the time. So started playing piano and then just hated practicing. So I'm like, I'm gonna play guitar. And they're like, haha, we got you.
It works. You still have to practice.
Yeah.
So then did you take lessons or did you just like teach yourself?
Basically self-taught. Every now and then I dip in and have lessons and have a teacher be like, oh, you're completely holding your hands wrong. And I'd be like, what?
That's what I learned. Yeah.
But yeah, I would dip in and out every now and then, but mostly self-taught. Like I have a habit of buying instruments and then having to learn how to play them. Like I bought a banjo and then I was in a play that had a live bluegrass band. So I'm just like, well, I guess I'm the banjo player now. Figure this one out.
Now I have to learn. Yeah.
There's a thumbs up that just popped up from the couch behind you. Validating
there you go, validating that. My husband's like, where do you want to put these guitars? I'm like, I don't know, under the bed. I don't know. Put them in the bathtub. Put them wherever you can. Why did you buy a bass guitar? I was asked to play bass in a band.
I needed it. It's fine.
No, fine.
I bought a hand mixer for the same reason today. No one asked me to. I just was like, well, I don't have this because I sold it. So I guess I'll buy one now.
So I need
it. You can figure it out.
Things. Yeah.
You can figure it out.
Was being a guitar playing kid cool for your social status? Were you...
Oh man, I was the coolest. I really was. I was a cool. I was one of those kids that was, but I'm like nice and funny kid. Yeah. So a good kid, didn't do drugs I was just the type that like was in every extracurricular activity, like didn't drink, but I was like the funny kid who was
like
artsy.
got away with not drinking.
Yeah, I was just too busy. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be in, the Thespians and the Philosophy Club, the Vision Literary Magazine, or whatever. But
yeah.
But yeah, it was. I'd play the funny songs at the talent show. I'd go to the local open mic night during the week and. With my dad, of course.
I was going to say, did your dad have to come? I was going to say, did they let you in? Because sometimes they make you either have to be with someone who's 18 or you have to be 18.
Yep. Every Tuesday or so, Dad and I went to the open mic co-op.
That's so cute.
So nice.
It's funny because now my dad is recently retired and all my dad has ever wanted to do is just play guitar all the time. So now that he's retired, he's like in 4 bands, not since COVID, of course, but like, he's like, oh, I'm going to go down to the Irish pub and play some diddly doos and sing my 7-part harmony.
So nice. Our friend's dad is the drummer for like, it's called Still Kickin' in the Big City Horns. And there's like 700 of them and they play like Mustang Sally and it's so fun. Like my mom and I both love when BJ's dad's band is playing because there's like
I love it.
Something for everyone and it just feels like when there's like the best wedding band and you're like, I guess BJ's dad's band is my favorite band.
You're like, who knew?
Yeah.
That's all I want to be. I want to own a house, have a garage, and be in a dad rock band. I want to like, let's just play Weezer covers and, late 90s stuff and be a dad rock band.
I have a photo album from probably, I don't know, 5 or 7 years ago or something. And it was New Year's Eve and we were at our, like the pub that we spend our whole lives at. And they had live music, which was really only on special occasions. And they had some like chucklehead band that thought New Year's Eve was the time to play original tunes. And it is just like, it's a photo album of my friends making the saddest faces because we're like, we just want to sing along tonight. We don't want to hear what moves you. Like, sorry about your breakup.
We don't want to hear your art.
Yeah.
I can totally relate. My band was asked to play a New Year's thing, and we like learned some weird covers, like old 50s songs, and they played, and it was at like a comedy sports theater. So like this goof rock band, midnight hits, everyone like sings Old Lang Syne. We start like playing like, I don't know, Wooly Bully or something, and everyone's like, we're underage, bye, we're going home. And so we stayed in this abandoned comedy theater until 3 a.m. drinking and playing music to no one.
But did you have fun?
Oh, it was the best New Year's. It was
That's all that matters.
That's the best. That's all that matters.
So did you go to a lot of concerts growing up?
I feel like yes, but they were like really local shows. I grew up outside in a suburb outside of Dayton, Ohio, and there was a place called Canal Street Tavern where like a lot of local bands played. Like the Breeders are from Dayton, so even though I didn't see them there, the Battle of the Bands was really big. I would go to a lot of those. And then once I was in high school, we'd go to rock shows kind of more in like Cincinnati or Columbus, like like an hour drive away or so.
Yeah. And
big into music.
Was it like what did you go to all different types of music, or did you have like one specific, like, you know how everyone was obsessed with Dave Matthews Band, so like people would go see them all summer?
Well, I in high school was in the era when everyone liked ska and swing music, so there was definitely a lot of that kind of stuff. The big concert, like I said, when I was younger, was REM was a big one. And the story I prepared for this podcast, I was like trying to think in my head, like, what are the stories from these things, other than seeing Ben Folds 5 really up close. And I like before Brick came out, like their first album came out, and we were like, we're going to drive to Columbus. And I was like, I'm going to prepare a story or a question to ask them. What kind of Pez dispenser would they design? That was my nerdy thing to ask Ben Folds. And
did they
answer?
They did. Let me see if I can remember. It was like Ben Folds said that he would just have be the head of Darren Jesse, who was like the bassist, I think. I don't remember what the drummer said, but then Darren Jesse was like, he wanted it to be like a dog butt, so when you lifted up the Pez, it would poop out Pez. And I was like, swoon.
You're like, he likes me.
Yeah, I was convinced I was going to marry all three of them. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
But the one thing that was like the epic concert experience was we went to go see a ska band in Cincinnati at Bogart's, and we drove one in Charlie, my boyfriend's van, one of like big crazy vans, and Sean, he drove a Geo Metro, so a whole bunch of us go down there. We were there to see the opening band. Charlie gives me his keys to hold, and you know, it being the 90s, I had a wonderful wallet chain.
Yeah,
I put his keys on my belt, and in the ska skanking mosh pit, it fell off my belt. So we lost the keys in the first band, and then we had to wait.
Did you notice that they were gone soon?
I noticed they were gone by the end of the first band, and then we had to wait until everything was done. And the problem was, the last band was the worst band in history to watch. They were called like Cottonmouth Kings.
Yes! They played with ICP. Yes.
So Cottonmouth Kings is up. We came to see the Pilfers as like fringe ska group. And so Cottonmouth Kings get on, and they like start rap singing and Not My Bag, and then they get these like underage girls up on the stage who start like grinding with them, and they shake beer on these like 16-year-old
oh my god
girls.
No.
And I'm just going like, I lost the keys and I have to watch this, and this is the worst experience ever, because you can't leave, you know. You're stuck in this. So it cleared out and we couldn't find the keys, and so our friend in the Geo Metro had to drive an hour back to Dayton, Ohio, and an hour back as we're like waiting outside this van, and that is my story.
Did he have like your boyfriend had extra keys that he had to go get?
He had to get a separate pair of car keys back in Dayton, Ohio, because I don't know why he gave them to me. It's not like he didn't have pocket. Like, what kind of skanking was he going to do that? There was
like your pocket.
Yours, probably.
A woman's pocket is more secure than man's pocket.
Yeah.
We trust you,
this pocket symbolizes a purse. You must hold my shit.
I know. And I was like, I'm really cool and have a wallet change, so let me immediately lose these for you.
I tried to do a wallet chain. I remember it was like silver, like iridescent type, like it was silver plastic, and I was like, well, I'll do the chain, but like since it's silver, it's not like as crazy. And I remember wearing it and I was just like, I don't think I'm a chain person. Like, I don't think I can pull this. I'll wear Jinkos, but I can't do the chain.
It's one of those things.
I wanted one made out of a bike chain. Like, I coveted it so badly, and anytime I was like only ever out shopping with my mom, and I'd be like, do you think? She'd be like, no, I don't. Nope. You can not buying that for you, and you don't have your own money, so you can't have.
I managed to get a like a mail carrier's chain, so I was like super hip. I was like, I don't need the wallet change from Spencer Gifts.
Yeah,
an official mailman's chain.
If you could get your hands on stuff, I remember my friend had a UPS t-shirt that we would wear that was like bright orange, and like one of the outfits that I felt like the coolest in was I would wear that orange t-shirt, a furry zebra patterned mini skirt, fishnet stockings, and black combat boots. And I was like, I am so cool and confident in this outfit.
And I bet you were.
Has your style changed? Because I look at pictures of myself, and honestly, at least in college, my uniform was basically like sneakers, baggy pants, and a hoodie. And I do not dress any differently now. I'm like your dad going to a t-ball game. That's who I am. Like Steven Spielberg all the way. That's my style.
I went like, I went through phases. I just wanted to look different from everyone. So I would wear like that outfit. I had like combat boots that were like coveted, and I would wear like princess crowns for fun. And then they started selling, then Hot Topic opened, and we were all like, because we were like, I got my princess crown from like a Halloween store. And so once that stuff started, like, I remember I had like my wallet and my purse was like made out of different duct tapes that I had, like, I just made it out of duct tape. But then they started like selling duct tape to do that with, like crafty duct tape. And I was like, well, no, now it's like trendy. I can't do that. And so somewhere along the way, it just morphed into like, I started just dressing like, I remember my mom had Sassoon jeans from the 70s. So I like transitioned out of that look, and I would wear these like 70s jeans, and I would wear like, she had old blue Dr. Scholl's, those like sandals with like a wooden platform, and I would literally wear like, I had like a vintage jacket, like a vintage cream colored ski jacket that had like purple and white stripes on the front, and then the rest of it was just like cream colored from the 70s. That was like my mom's like ski outfit. And so I would wear like her Sassoon jeans and like old sweaters that I found from Salvation Army, and then that morphed into like, I'll just dress on trend. And now I'm like, I'll wear sweatpants.
I used to love like shirts with little jokes on them, or like graphic t-shirts, and like that has gratefully like morphed into, I'll just tell the jokes, and my shirts are plain. Like I like that much better for me. But at the time I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's got like a little wordplay or puns on them. I had multiple Goonies shirts.
I think I had a spam shirt, like a spam
Oh,
baseball
that was a
shirt.
thing. Yeah.
I got a lot of concert shirts that then it would later turn out I wasn't allowed to wear. Like I wanted a Bush t-shirt one year, and I got one for Christmas, and my aunt got it for me, and then my sister pointed out that like it was the one with the MASH logo, but instead of periods in between the letters, there were pot leaves.
Yes.
And I wasn't allowed to wear it. And then I had a local H shirt that was in the design of a Preparation H logo that I bought at a show, and it was like, well, that you can't wear that to school. Like, no. I think the only one I could wear to school was like I had a Smashing Pumpkins shirt that had like the little silver vampire Billy Corgan guy, and like that one wasn't egregious, so I could get away with it.
I feel like every band T-shirt was always like a 6XL. Like for some reason we didn't have any concept of how to wear. I think I dressed like an old man until I was like 22, just like these big like velour shorts or shirts. And
I remember specifically my sister had a shirt that I feel like I took from her, and it was in ska, Real Big Fish days, Spring Hill Jack days, and it was like from the Gap men's section, and it was like mega polyester and like the brightest blues and like tiny swirls, and it was so loud, like it looked like a water park on a shirt, and I was like, that is fashion, and I'm gonna wear this. And it was men's, like you said, like I'm sure it was at least an extra large, and it was like, this really showcases my 17-year-old girl shape.
I had this dress. I was just with my boyfriend in like a vintage clothing store, and in Woodstock, New York. And so it was this like I found this dress and I showed it to him, and I was like, I would wear something like this, but I'd wear fishnet stockings in my boots. And the dress that I had, I wish I had pictures of it. Like we would just literally go to Salvation Army and buy all of our clothes. And the dress was like bright like Kelly green with like pink. It was an old like 60s like house dress, I think, or something, and it was like long. And I told Josh, I'm like, I have a memory of walking down the hall and another kid walked by me and he goes, what the freak? And I was like, I remember wearing that dress and feeling so proud. Like I was like, good. I remember being like, I'm not like you sheep.
I just bought a leopard print like moo house dress near Joshua Tree, and my friend I was with, I was like, I don't know where I wear this, and she's like, well, the farmer's market around your house, or you can just admit you live in Los Angeles now, and this is what people wear. This is not a weird outfit here.
Absolutely.
A black t-shirt and dark denim like you're used to.
I think that's the thing about fashion now is or age in general, you just like decide, I am a hat person now, or I am a moo person now. Like there was a woman in my neighborhood wearing, I don't even know, you know the snack food bugles.
Yes.
So it was like she had a straw hat in the shape of a bugle on top of her hat, and I was just like, what kind of hat is it? What? But
like,
you just decide.
Yeah.
You just decide and wear that. I remember when I stopped pegging my pants, like it was a big deal. If you didn't peg your pants, you were not cool. Mm-hmm. And then Kim Wheatwort started she just had the long bell bottoms kind of thing. And I was like, that is so brave.
You're like, so brave. I'm going to try.
I just keep saying, I love high tops, but I don't have the legs for high tops. So my boyfriend is like, I think you're fine, and you could wear high tops if you believe that you can wear high tops. I'm like, I'll get there. I'll work on it.
That's all it is. Someday. It's just like, you know what? I like this. This is stupid. I'm going to wear it.
Hey, your dropping the keys story reminded me. I got talked into going to a country music concert, which is decidedly not my scene. And it was like box store country. Like I think it was Toby Keith. And my friend was like, we're going to go. It's going to be fun, whatever. And it was at like one of the, the huge amphitheaters with the lawns and the whatever. And it rained. Everyone got very drunk, and the keys went missing. And my friend thought her boyfriend lost them, and he was like, the messiest out of all of us. And he just kept being like, I don't have them. And I'm like, are you sure you gave them to him? And she's like, you couldn't tell her. You could not tell her that she didn't. And I had like called my boyfriend and was like, I think I need you to line your back seat with beach towels because we're all messy, muddy messes, and like come get us. And she called her mom like drunk in the middle of the night. And then I was like, are you sure you don't have your keys? And in like prime drunk 20 whatever year old we were, she like throws her arms out and she's like, pat me down. And I was like, all right. And then I pulled her keys out of her front pocket.
No. And then you're like, but still probably need a ride.
I was like, I will drive your car and we're just going to call your mom and tell her we're fine.
Oh my God.
It was a nightmare. And I was like, you can never, ever ask me to go to this with you ever again. Like, I just need you to know this was a
To
one
be
and
fair,
done.
that could happen at any concert.
It could, but the fact that it happened at a Toby Keith concert
Now
was
it
like
scarred
all
you.
the more like, of course. Yeah. Of course this is happening.
I was like a huge drinker and I went to a K-Rockathon, and I believe I was in high school. And I it was in upstate New York, so like it was in a field. And I remember like I rode with some friends, and then I remember like there was traffic and it was just like everyone from my high school was going. So I like ran into someone else that I knew. I saw people like riding in on the back of a pickup truck. And so I was like, oh, so I remember getting out of my friend's car and like running over to my friends in the pickup truck and like sitting with them and then saying, I think I had packed my own bottle of oh my God, it was the cinnamon flavored, what was
Fireball?
it? Fireball. I brought my own bottle of Fireball and I just drank the entire bottle. And I remember like being in the pickup truck, and then I was crowd surfing, and then I woke up on a blanket. And I was on a blanket with different friends who were
I feel like you could have like a whole advertising campaign of just like, you start out with your Fireball and then I ended up ...
on a
down in a military bunker.
Yeah. And I remember like I woke up and I was like, Todd? Like, this guy that I had worked with in the past was like, yeah, we found you. I'm glad you're okay. Do you want a sandwich? And I just like ate a sandwich and then went back out and crowd surfed. And then my friends were like, we thought you were dead. Like I was missing for all of K-Rockathon.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I did like I spent many years at Dave Matthews shows and then took some time off and then went back, and we still sat on the lawn and we were like, we've aged out of this. But there were these like 3 teen girls who stumbled in front of us, and there was like one was passed out, one was like the leader and found a boy, and then the other one was there, and like security came to check on the passed out girl, and they were like, we have to take her with us because she's sleeping.
Yeah.
And I was watching this and I was like, I know the girl with the boy doesn't want to go because she wants to make out with this dude, and the other girl doesn't want to like have to leave her good time. And so I like watched security take this girl away, and I was like, we're not far behind them, but I couldn't control it, and I was like, you're being bad friends. And like I'm just screaming at teenagers at this point. And eventually one of them did get up and like shuffle along. I was like, yeah, you can't leave her, dude.
Like, where is she going? Don't you want to know?
Wouldn't you one day you're gonna be the one sleeping on the grass, and
Probably next
someone
week.
to follow you. Yeah, probably. Yeah,
She's gonna have the time of her life.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. It's wild. Concert culture is
Definitely.
some of it never changes, and some of it you're like, God, I hope this gets better.
There's always the drunk person dancing, and you always judge them. But as soon as you're drunk and you dance, you are the best dancer in the front.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Everyone is just looking at you, wanting to dance with you, and you're like moving like the wind.
You're like, I'm so good at this. You're like, please,
So
no one
good.
record it.
Oh my God. I'm so thankful I didn't grow up in a time where people didn't have like cameras on their phones.
privacy.
Like
Yeah.
all of my awful embarrassments like were pre MySpace, so, or during MySpace, and then I quit MySpace. So very thankful that no improv has ever been photographed. No dancing at concerts has ever been photographed.
So did you have a band that you like to go to? Like, were you super fans of any bands, or were you just like, I'll go see anything?
I would generally, the one band that I did see the most was a band called Rocket from the Crypt. And they were like this rock and roll band with horns. And they just were like, I think they're from San Diego. And just all like a uniform of like cool black. And then they had like slick black hair. And then they had like a whole 4-piece horn thing, but it was like, rock music with horns. And I saw them and I was like, that's the one band. I was like, if I ever get a tattoo, I will get a Rocket from the Crypt tattoo on my forearm. And it was something like, if you get a tattoo, of course you get into the shows for free. But I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get a tattoo because I'm too much of a wimp. I'm an actor. I don't want to have anything on my arms.
I can't scar my skin.
No. Too chicken. Yeah, Rocket from the Crypt was, I think I was at Lilith Fair one year with the Indigo Girls. But yeah, I think that was it that I saw multiple times.
I feel like we did Dave Matthews a lot, and then we would just go to all these hardcore shows when I was in like that phase, and I couldn't even tell you like half the bands. We would just go, and there would be like 20 bands, and you'd be like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. These 20 bands are my favorite band. I'm gonna pay $8 and I'll be there all day, and I'm gonna only drink water.
I've seen like Godsmack and Seven Dust more times than you would think based on who I am today. Blink-182 a number of times. Like I was peak early 2000s.
Yeah, I was gonna say peak 2000s.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a tendency of seeing bands on either their last show of the tour, like Pavement's last show, or the Breeders are back for one show, or so I had to see them before they were gone. And then I realized that concerts were noisy and I didn't want to stand. And maybe it was like 5-7 years ago, I tried to go see Shovels and Rope in Chicago, and they're amazing. They're just a 2-person like country band, real chill. And I was sitting up in the balcony and I looked at my husband and I was just like, I guess we could go, right?
You're like, we don't have to stay the whole time.
I have their albums. I can go, right?
We tried to see a Ray LaMontagne show after an insane comedy festival weekend, and it was like that Sunday. It was like, we got to get home because we have these tickets, and it was like an indoor seated show with a laser light show behind him while he played soothing music, and we're like, we got 8 hours of sleep since Thursday. We can't be at this show.
You're like, this is so relaxing. I could fall asleep.
This show is a warm blanket right now, which is nice, but we have a long drive home. It's awful.
I actually got to see Tom Petty right before he died, and I wasn't I remember I was supposed to go with a friend, and then that didn't work out, and I was almost not gonna go. And then another friend of mine was like, she was working as a nurse in Boston, and she was like, I'm gonna just make it where I can like drive to the parking lot from the hospital. And she literally like drove in, changed out of her scrubs, and we like ran to TD Garden. And then we were both like, this was one of the most amazing concerts we've ever been to. And then he passed away like a few months later, and I was like, thank God we went, because I was thinking like, I'll catch him on the next run.
Right.
And then there was no run.
Were you all tailgaters? Were you tailgating people?
Yes.
I wasn't. No.
Just
not cool
in
enough
and out for the show. Not cool enough. That's not true.
I feel like
the guitar.
Yeah, but I feel like the people who were tailgating were like drinkers, or like, sneaking. Like, I only drank once in high school, and that was like at a girls' weekend at a cabin where we got wine coolers. That was my drinking experience. But yeah, I feel like tailgating. No, we just like drove to an hour to go see things,
to see a show and leave. Yeah, and I also feel like that's like not for like, if you're going to a little club, tailgating's not the thing. It's like, it's just those big like summer bangers. Like,
there's certain bands like Dave Matthews. I feel like it is about the music, but it's mostly about parking in the parking lot and running into all these people that you know.
That's why I'm still amazed that I'm still amazed at how young the people who go to a Dave Matthews show are now. And I'm like, that's oldies music for you. And you're here like under the table and dreaming. You were not alive.
You weren't under anything.
You're just be honest. You're here to drink in a parking lot, right? Like that. I get what this is for you, but yeah. I feel like there's articles every year when summer is a thing and going places are things that are like, this show is coming to town. This is how many ambulances are on deck for the young turds who are just going to come get wrecked hours before the show opens.
Did you ever go to like a big festival like Lollapalooza or Pitchfork or?
I've been to what is it called? Warped Tour. I went to that once, and it was terrifying because there was like I think it was like No Effects was starting, and
like Cottonmouth Kings were closing.
Yeah, Cottonmouth Kings were closing the show, and we're trying to get up closer, and like a guitar chord struck, and then a man turned and made horns with his his fingers, and like ducked and charged at me, and I was like, I hate this, and I have to leave immediately.
Too aggro. No, thank you.
No, now I would like to just go to a Lilith fair. I think that's
just sit on a blanket.
Just anything. Like when I realized the Hollywood Bowl was what it was, I was like, the first time I went to the Hollywood Bowl out here, I like brought all this food. I was like, oh, well, this is going to be like in Chicago where you sit. And no, they have food there. They want your money. So I had like 16 LaCroix with me, basically. like I'm ready to drink.
I wanted to go this summer because Alanis Morissette was going to do Jagged Little Pill. And I was like, I'd never been to Hollywood Bowl. And I was like, this is it. And then, as we've stated at the beginning of this,
I was excited to see that. That was a concert that I was like, I'm going to relive my youth right now.
Do you get annoyed when people in the crowd sing along? Like to me, I'm just like, I'm here to see the music and me sing along. I don't want to hear everyone else sing along.
I did go to, as an adult, I went to a Foo Fighters concert at a Red Sox stadium, and it was amazing, and the crowd was pretty good about like only singing along when he directed people to. And so at that time it was like you were under the stars and it was a beautiful night and like everyone was singing and it was like magical, but then people were not singing when he was, but like if they were, it wasn't enough to like drown him out. So I was like, all right, this is good. Like, this I can do.
That's respectful.
I spent too much money. Hootie and the Blowfish and Bare Naked Ladies were touring, and I was like, the only guy I like in Bare Naked Ladies got kicked out, and I only want to go to this to scream "Let Her Cry," and I know that, and I know it's not a good use of my money. And then like 2 friends were like, "Oh, we're going," and I was like, "Great, me too." I'll see you there. It was like such a disaster. I was like, you could have done this in your bedroom, but here we are.
How are those bands doing? I wish them well. I hope they're okay.
Well, Bare Naked Ladies got the Big Bang Theory song, so they got all that money.
Good.
The other ones are also there.
TV money.
Good for them.
I think is doing okay. He was doing stuff by himself.
Right, he went solo.
What you're doing?
Oh, I think that was it. Was like cracked rear view, because now everything is like having its 25-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So now they all get to
board.
Go back.
And all of those musicians are so thankful for it, but they know that the only way they're going to make any money is possibly through selling merch, because musicians don't make any money anymore. You can't survive.
No.
They're selling cassettes out of their trunk in order to make some money.
It's all about the t-shirt game.
Well, Thea, where can the folks find you online?
Well, I guess they can look me up with my first and last name on Twitter and Instagram. Thea Lux is TheaLux. I have one of those names that are impossible to pronounce unless I correct you.
But then so simple once you know.
Yeah, like it's Thea, like playa, and then feel really stupid saying that, but
it gets your name said right.
Yeah. But I'm on there. If you want to check out my Etsy page, it's Hot Dog City USA, and you can see all the little tiny hot dogs. I'm not joking. They're
No,
tiny
we're
hot
gonna
dogs that
post
you
the
can
link to the
wear.
hot dogs.
They're little.
They make perfect stocking stuffers. Or just confusing gifts for people that you don't know very well.
You need a little hot dog on a magnet sometimes.
Yeah.
I put little tiny hot dogs in a little bottle so you can have like I like to tell people that tiny hot dogs are more powerful than crystals. So the power of the tiny hot dog.
Yeah.
Just
charge them with eclipses and
Yep.
Put them in the right corner of your room.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We're gonna include all of those links and stuff in the show notes, so you can find Thea all over the place. She's very funny and talented, and we're lucky to have her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And hey, please like and subscribe and rate and follow and all the buttons to Pinky Promise. It would mean a lot to us. Leave us a little note. Tell us.
Give us some fun reviews to read.
Yeah, we want to read out loud. And otherwise, stay safe, stay inside, wear your mask.
We'll see you next week.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.